Jennifer Lopez has released her ninth album titled This Is Me Now, a follow-up to her 2002 album This Is Me Then, and her first album since 2014. The album is also accompanied with a short film that chronicles her love journey. The album itself pretty much exclusively focuses on her rekindling with her husband Ben Affleck, who famously or infamously almost had it all as a pair in the early 2000s, and then had a dramatic split that kept the press talking for years to come. The early 2000s is also when J-Lo hit her music career prime, with hit after hit, and after that period was over, her output became more sporadic, inconsistent, and lost. She seemed to initially really struggle with cementing her stronghold in the digital era as a music artist, turning to American Idol to help her get back on track, and she eventually landed on moments of commercial glory with songs like On the Floor, but it proved to be more of a lightning in the bottle moment than a true resurrection. With that being said, she has been chugging along, single after single, one release after another, but This Is Me Now stands as a full statement of what J-Lo has to say and offer in today's music. In fact, she has described it as the definitive J-Lo album, and one she might leave music on. Now there's been a lot of talk about J-Lo's voice, and as a singer on this record, Jennifer is front and center. There aren't loads of singers and anonymous group vocal tricks to camouflage her voice. Now that's not to say the album doesn't have its fair share of weak spots vocally, where it sounds like pitch or tone is off, but J-Lo has never been the best singer. She delivers best when her voice moves with the beat, not sitting on top of it and trying to do vocal acrobatics. The sonic style is very contemporary R&B pop, with some callbacks to classic soul arrangements, with some Latin flair here and there. And it's a decent pop album. Certainly better than anything Jennifer released in the 2010s, and maybe even the best album of her career. Although not super definitive in its theme, it's cohesive and focused. Jennifer shines best when she's not overreaching, like on songs such as Not Going Anywhere, Rebound, and especially the Latin-infused chorus of The Greatest Love Story Never Told. As personal as the album wants to be, the lyrics are still at times heavy-handed with cliches, and more than that, vagueness. It's not exactly the type of lyrics you'd expect from someone of Jennifer's experience who's defining this as her definitive album. More than a few of the songs on the record feel very interchangeable, as if you could picture someone like Ariana Grande singing it, and honestly selling it way better. But with that being said, there are also moments in songs that do also genuinely feel personal to J-Lo. And speaking of the theme of the album, it is so incredibly one note that by the time you get halfway through, you wonder, is this all she has to say? It's not much variety and perspective, and even the tough moments in her relationship with Ben that she describes in the songs, or watching the sacrifices her mother had to take on the title track, are glossed over and never really dove into. It sometimes can feel like one long song with the same repeated message. But all things considered, and from what is expected from a J-Lo album at this point, it does all those things much better than usual. The music is not much of a spectacle or exactly soul-bearing, but it has some catchy hooks here and there, some good production here and there, even if some of the production choices are far too sanitized. But basically, the album is a love letter, with some good frothy parts, and other parts that just feel redundant. It's not at all a bad release for Jennifer though, even if not exactly gratifying, but people who are fans of her then will likely like this album now. So I got an opportunity to catch the short film that came along with this album. The short film is officially titled This Is Me Now, A Love Story, and it is absolutely insane. It's hard to even describe exactly what it is, but it's like an apocalyptic, zodiac, surrealist musical, with hints of J-Lo's rom-com pastiche sprinkled in. It's very high budgeted. You can tell there was genuine effort put into crafting it. It has many guest stars from Post Malone to Jane Fonda to Keke Palmer, just to name a few. It's not something I would watch again, and the storyline is a bit perplexing at times, and sometimes too ridiculous and over the top to even take seriously. But it does come across at least very earnest, like she means and genuinely feels the story that she's telling. I do think it honestly serves her artistic message pretty well. I have never seen a visual album like this at all, so it definitely gets points for originality and its effort. While the movie brought a more personal and less cliche way of telling J-Lo's story, I can't say that it necessarily helped strengthen the album itself. But once again, given who we've come to know J-Lo as an artist as a concept, as a theme, and even sometimes as a listening experience, most times it's much more consistent than her previous works.